Just a few more days before this Apple keynote finally happens, and Venya Geskin is once again blessing us with a couple last-minute tidbits of leaks that actually kind of have me a little bit excited. So we got this picture a little bit earlier, I think we even showed it on this channel before, of what some supposed iPhone 9s may look like. Of what some supposedly iPhone 9s, or now the latest rumor is 10C, but at this point the names change like every day. 10C kind of makes sense because it's the new versions of the iPhone, so they give it the 10, C for color, but they showed them in product red, blush gold, silver, and space gray, and what I appreciate about these leaks, or these dummy models that we've mentioned in the past, is that unlike the dummy models we were sent, they do not have the stainless steel borders. They're actually giving us an idea of what the iPhone 10C or 9 actually looks like with those aluminum edges, those beautiful, beautiful aluminum bumpers to encase this very, very low detailed display. The other interesting leak about this is that the blush gold version of the iPhone 10C shows off a dual SIM tray. Venya Geskin is saying this version will not be available everywhere, but likely in a lot of countries where having dual SIMs is very common, they're going to be shipping the iPhone 9/10C with this dual SIM tray. And most recently, he retweeted this picture saying, these are not dummies, these are not clones, these are actually the real deal. Either the phones themselves actually working or prototype from inside of Apple. How people got these pictures, no idea. Where did they come from? No idea. But Venya Geskin has a lot of insider information, is able to contact a lot of people on the inside, and he's saying that these leaks are legitimate and they are not dummies or clones. And that's probably why you haven't been able to buy them yet. Why would someone make a dummy but not offer to sell it for $500? Don't worry, I did not get mine for $500. That would be insane. Just about $100. The lesson is you are the dummy if you buy these. They should just ship you a mirror. But what I like about these little leaks is that it shows us that it's possible the iPhone 10C may ship with a product red version at launch, because for a long time we've had many different analysts and reporters say that the iPhone 9/10C will come in blue and orange and taupe and yellow and lots of weird colors like that, but product red would not be available at launch, most likely because Apple likes to do those product red launches halfway through the cycle in the March-April timeframe. And while I get why they do it, you know, they want to spice up the lineup a little bit and say, hey, remember the iPhone 8? It exists. You can buy it again. And surprisingly, it works. It gets a lot of people to run out into the market and check out the new iPhone. Journalists will report on it, and everyone will suddenly give all this interest in a new phone again. And it's not just Apple. OnePlus did the same thing this year with the OnePlus 6, and I got to admit, seeing that product red OnePlus 6 definitely got me interested in at least looking at the phone again, even though it had already come out and it had been out for a while. Difference is OnePlus phones come out like 2 different times a year, so I don't know why they need to have a product red release or something like that, minus the charity, you know, unlike the Apple iPhones. But either way, I'm always annoyed when it's like, oh, I wish they had product red, and then you buy it anyway, and then halfway through the cycle, they're like, oh, and here's product red, and you're like, well, if you would have shown me that in the first place, maybe I would have gotten it. But so people end up having to sell their old phone or turn it back in or spending more money on a new one. I'm hoping that maybe this year they can just stop it with that. Maybe they're so confident in this year's lineup and saying that the iPhone 9/10C will sell so well that we don't even have to release a product red version halfway through the cycle. We're just going to release all the colors up front and just have a very, very colorful lineup of iPhones. The other thing I'm happy about when hearing that these pictures are the real deal, they are prototypes or working models, is that it disregards a leak we got earlier that I wasn't that excited about. The theory that the glass on the back of the iPhone 9/10C will be the only part of the phone that changes color, and the aluminum will not change. I'd seen some concepts that Everything Apple Pro did for that, of all the different colors of the iPhone 10C with every single bumper being the silver aluminum, and the only thing that changes is the glass on the back. I'm not really digging that look. I'd rather them go like the iPhone 8 method, which I still think looks the best. Basically, any color on the back, as long as you have black bezels on the front. That's the slight bit of sad news we have with these leaks, is that we don't see the front of the iPhone 9, so we can't see how significant the big bezels are, or how bad the display may look, or how intrusive the notch may be, because with this lower cost model, it's rumored that the bezels on the sides will be a little bit thicker. And there's a very, very terrified part of my heart and brain that says, what if they go back to white bezels? Hopefully Notch and Face ID means they will not do that. But basically, any phone, blush gold gold, silver, product red, blue. I don't really care. As long as it's got black bezels on the front, I think that design looks dope. Matches the Apple Watch much, much better. And here's hoping the Series 4 comes in like an assortment of different aluminum colors. That would be great if they made a Series 4 Apple Watch to match every single color design they released for the iPhone XS/9. But will those colors really help the sales of that phone grow? As we've talked about in the past, a 720p display at 6 inches might look noticeably bad, even to non-techie people that don't watch YouTube about this stuff. They may even go up to that and say, you know what? That display looks a little rough. I don't think I'm gonna go for it. But either way, I'm also hoping that we can get those dual SIM options that we saw in this leak on all 3 of the new iPhones coming out on Wednesday, because a lot of people use that. I'm personally not the type of guy to have dual SIMs, but a lot of other smartphones across the world already have this feature, and I feel like Apple's playing catch up already. Or if they're not gonna equip a dual SIM tray, at least kind of meet them with a hybrid in the middle ground. Like, Apple ditches the headphone jack, right? But they don't have eSIMs in the iPhones yet, where the SIM is just built in. What if they had an eSIM that was separate from the SIM tray, so you could still access that if you needed to, but also if you were in a country or you traveled a lot, you could have dual SIM options by having one eSIM and then inserting another SIM card if you so desired. That would be really important for Apple to nail, I think. The other thing I'm slightly worried about with the pre-orders starting likely this Friday is that when I pre-ordered the iPhone 10 at launch, you could not get it unlocked, which was a real problem for me because in all my experience with pre-ordering phones, I'm used to getting the unlocked option. I can just swap my SIM out. For some reason, they didn't have that as an option when the iPhone 10 went up for pre-orders. If you've been following me for a while and you remember that stream, it was very, very stressful. I was pulling my hair out because there was all this Verizon information that I had to know that I didn't at the time. That was very, very stressful. But most people say that the reason you couldn't get it unlocked on the first pre-order day was because the iPhone 10s were in limited supply. Now, you'll notice in the Apple Store app, you can order an iPhone 10 unlocked. They've since added that option, and I'm hoping the only reason that option wasn't there was because they weren't able to crank out as many Face ID sensors very quickly. They were in limited supply, and that meant that they had to make as few customizations as possible. That's why we didn't see a blush gold option last year. We only got 2 storage configurations, and we only got 2 colors. Parts were limited. So this year with the 10S and the 10S Max or 10S Plus, hopefully we'll be getting much more diversity, and we can order the unlocked versions right away on pre-order date so that you don't have to get locked into another Verizon contract if you don't want to, which I'm personally sick of. I'm used to buying phones outright, and I'm still in a stupid Verizon contract with this thing. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time around. But the last thing to remember about the iPhone XC for color is that it is most likely going to be delayed. They're saying that this low cost, yet difficult to manufacture display is actually taking a lot longer than they first realized, and production is a little bit slowed up. So some analysts are saying that the iPhone XC will not be available until late October, potentially even early November, and you could see a very similar delay for the budget iPhone that you saw for the regular sized iPhone 10 last year. Unveiled at the same time, of course, we will be seeing all 3 new iPhones on Wednesday, but might not be able to pre-order that XC on Friday. But I think that's actually kind of good because iPhone launch days are so crazy. I remember being at an Apple store on the first day the iPhone 10 came out, and so many people all run into the store all at the same time, and it gets stressful. People show up at 3 a.m. to get in line, and if we're able to divide the iPhone audience up a little bit and say like premium users and budget users, I think that would be a little bit better as long as we can get an overall less number of people in line at Apple stores outside malls on that day. That would be preferable. I'd be very much okay with that, just kind of shrinking it down a little bit. But after the stresses of going to an Apple store at 3 a.m. last year, I've decided when I pre-order mine this Friday, I'm definitely not going to do in-store pickup. You know, after driving to the store and driving back, our Apple store is like 2 hours away. We ultimately don't save that much time because our mail gets here at around noon anyway, so we're just gonna stay here, wait for the package to show up. I like going to Apple stores, but not when they're that crazy. That just wasn't fun. For smaller releases, maybe like the iPad or a new MacBook or a new Mac Mini or something, I'll definitely go to the store to pick it up, but this time around, I'll pass. I don't need that stress, and I'll try to sleep if I can. What are your guys' plans for the pre-orders? Are you guys gonna be getting the iPhone XC or the XS? What color, what storage? Let me know in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.